All right, Senior Open, we're going to kick it off with today. Our fourth seed from Jerome, Idaho, Tony Harbaugh. Tony's been shooting for 30 years, won Vegas twice. Came in as the number 5 seed. Qualified 5th. And our number 3 position archer, shooting for 62 years from Siegel, Pennsylvania, Ken Shannon. You can see Ken's picture on the 22 banner, low left corner. He's a past champion of the Classic.
I think it's 18 meters.
So here we are, ready for our first shoot up of the day. It's going to be 4 ends, 3 arrows. Points are cumulative. We're shooting at 18 meters, which is just shy of 20 yards.
Frank, did you tell him about the 12?
Well, Rio, you're on center stage. The lights are on you. This arena is filling up, the seats. There's been music here, lights here. How do you calm your nerves?
The biggest thing is wait till you get your first arrow shot. It's always so nerve-wracking and so like your question of how you're going to hit from the practice range to here is the biggest thing you've got going on.
Harbaugh is going to be our first to shoot. You can see middle part of your screen towards the bottom is a shot clock, and he starts off with a 10.
It's a good solid spot. I mean, and the nice part is if you remember where you're hitting on the practice range, you get out here and shoot. You can make a quick adjustment.
Shannon, 1 point lead right out of the box with a good 11.
Good feeling to walk out and put your arrow right in the middle. Can help settle the nerves, can kind of give him a lead right now, so it's just a little bit extra of calming them nerves.
10 for Harbaugh.
So he did capitalize on that one, ends up with a little, still 1 point lead. And then, like I said, the first hand is always about kind of feeling out how you're feeling and what's going on.
There you go. Now Harbaugh's into the 11 ring.
If you look at Tony's target, sometimes when you shoot your first one low, you overcompensate, shoot the second one out high. But and so that ends up with a good end. I mean, start out with 11, 11, 10. Nice start, calm your nerves. Just kind of a nice thing.
Ken Shannon, welcome back to the Lancaster Archery Classic final stage. We know you're up there on the 22 banner. How many times have you been out here on the final stage?
This is my 3rd time.
3rd time. All right. You look pretty comfortable. Does it get easier?
Not really. You guys know what you're doing here. You reckon us.
All right. Well, let's run through your equipment, Ken. We like to let folks at home know what we're shooting.
Garten Exodus, Axel Sight, Viper Scope, Conquest bars.
Arrows?
Arrows are Black Eagle 27.
Black Eagle 27. All right. So, unofficially, score went away there a second. Hold on.
You maintain the lead. You get to choose first or second. You're going to choose second. You'll be shooting first again. Yes. We are clear. You guys can go ahead and load.
So yeah, it looks like 33, 31.
You give me a nod, we'll start shooting.
It should be 32,
That's what I was
31.
just thinking.
Yeah, it should be. So we're just waiting for scoring to catch up on that one. But here we go. End to end number 2, cumulative scoring.
And in this part, you're like, man, oh. And you can see Tony's look on his face. He looks up at the banners, and he's just, the frustration is when you do that, you're just.
Because it seemed like a little bit of a quick shot for Harbaugh as well.
It did,
on
yeah.
that one. And you just know, if I just had the patience. Okay.
Well, returned it so it wasn't as bad as you.
What a good look at what the archers are looking at. That's a great recovery, of course. Harbaugh's been shooting for 30-plus years and knows how to recover from those 9s.
Yeah. And then that look was really cool because you get to kind of see the effects with the archers. Like, this is totally different than we shoot at any point. These lights on you and lights on the target and everything else dark is such a different approach.
A little high on that one.
Yeah.
Seems a little bit quick.
Yeah, they both are, like I said, they're really not finding a real pace there. And like I said, this isn't easy. This is different than we see all year.
Tony Harbaugh, welcome to the Lancaster Archery Classic stage. Have you been here before?
Yes.
How many times?
Been on stage once and once in the basement.
In the basement. All right, so you go way back.
Way back.
All right, Tony. Well, where are you coming from? I forget what I read on the screen.
Jerome, Idaho.
Jerome, Idaho. Okay, where do you shoot out there? I see Advantage Archery.
Advantage Archery.
All right. Tell us about your equipment. We'd like the folks at home to know what we're shooting.
I'm shooting a PSC Duo Dominator, custom strings, cell sight, pre-show rest, and Easton 2712s.
2712s, you got some AE hot rods, I believe, there.
Oh, yes.
All right. Welcome to the stage, both of you, and we are at a 62-61. Ken has a 1-point advantage.
Rio Wild, you're from the great state of Idaho. Where is Tony in relation to where you are in the state?
Tony's about an hour and 40 minutes away from me, or an hour and 30. In fact, we shot in a shoot last weekend together.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony's a good guy. He's been around a lot, does some work on, he owns a shop that works on transmissions.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Good shot.
He does a lot with the youth. He works at the local Joad there at the shop and everything. So he's a good guy.
If you're new to archery, Joad Junior Olympic Archery Development Program. It's something that if you have some kids that are interested in shooting, go to your local shop, find out if they have a Joad program. It's a great way for kids and families to really get into archery. And it's really based a lot on accomplishments more than score. What a nice shot.
Looks like they're settling in. I mean, like I said, like stepping out on that stage is like putting your foot in the cold water the first time you walk out, and it's just like, whoa, and then you can get used to it settled.
10.
It's so funny too because, next week we go to Las Vegas for the largest shoot in the world, and
10.
the middle ring, which counts 11 here, is just an X. Like, it doesn't actually mean anything other than for the pro shooters a little bit of ego, but here it is the world.
Oh yeah, it separates everything. Whoa.
Oh. Unfortunately for him, that was just, it went high, it went off really early. And you can see, so what the judge is calling now is they're calling score 11, 10, and then an M for a miss.
And that can be just destroying. Like, a guy can just... Oh, he just kind of collapsed a little on it and went to pull it back and set it in, and it went off on him.
Yeah. That's one of those things when, as an older archer, sometimes your brain just kind of gets away from you. And you go, wait, I'm going to let down. No, wait, I'm on a shot clock.
Or the other part is you're trying to be really cute and careful. Mm-hmm. You're really like, I don't want to miss. And you like relax a little too much and like, ooh.
Yeah. It happens. Yep. It definitely happens. It's just, obviously the impact of it here on stage is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So for Tony Harbaugh, it's a 10-point advantage. After that miscue from Ken Shannon.
And now this changes the dynamic of the match. Tony went from like fighting to get the match to like I'm ahead, and now in your mind, like I dealt with this a little bit today.
Yeah.
You try and think, don't mess this up. Don't. No.
And that happens as well.
Yeah.
So he just moved his hand a little bit. It plucked the string, and off it came, the knock and the string. disconnected, there is a 3-meter line that's out in front. So as long as the arrow doesn't cross that 3-meter line, then he's still eligible to shoot. But the clock hadn't gone off yet either. So
No, it was just a slight mistake that happens with them.
had to put that out of his mind, so it looks like it caught 11. Tell us about that scoring. As long as the arrow's doing what, it gets what score.
It just has to touch. As long as you're touching that line and there's no visible differences between it, you'll get the higher scoring arrow. And I can tell you, there's a lot that get really close, and it can come down to just the slightest hair to
Oh,
the
yeah.
difference in.
It can really make a difference on what type of bail you're shooting on, because the material behind that black foam of the bail could really kick an arrow one way or the other, depending on the manufacturer and what's the core of the target.
Or even the way your arrow kicks in it. Like if it lays one way or another, it can lay across a line differently. Or I had one yesterday that looked really different. I had never seen it. The target kind of puckered in there, and I had it cut through both lines, and I've never seen that before. But, you know,
Yep.
that's one of the funs of the challenge of different mats and scoring. And looks like he settled in a little bit. Like
He did. Yep. So that was it for this match. And unfortunately for Ken Shannon, after that missed arrow, our 4th place ranked archer, it looks like he's going to be done for the match as we await the official score. And it's going to be Tony Harbaugh who's going to advance in this shoot-up to shoot against the number 2 qualifier. And you can see that's a great shot of what we were talking about. Really, like for archers like us that have been around a while, there is zero question on that one, where you can see a little bit of the yellow paper in between that 10 line and what we are calling here at this tournament the 11 line.
Yeah, and you'll end up with a lower score.
And also, we were talking earlier about that little white dot. If you're just joining us here at the 20th Lancaster Archery Classic, that little dot there that's in the red, that is a 12, and the archers have an option each end to call 112 and shoot at it. And we're definitely going to have somebody at some point today shoot at that 12, and we'll explain it in more detail as to what they're doing.
Yeah.
So Ken Shannon gets 4th place. He'll take home a nice prize. You can go to LancasterArcheryClassic.com and check out all the rules if you want to come here next year as this tournament continues to grow in popularity, and with good reason, especially in a well-populated area like the Northeast. All right, let's get to PJ Riley.
Number 2 qualifier from Media, Pennsylvania, 2019 Classic champ Glenn Talley.
Second. You have 30 seconds to shoot your arrow.
So ready for shoot-up match number 2.
Your time starts. We repeat until we're done.
And it's going to be
There's a little red button down on the floor.
Tony Harbaugh
Step on that button before
against
you shoot
Glenn Talley.
All right.
Well, and the interesting part will be, how does Tony handle it? After going through a match that he had all kinds of emotions from up to down with the guy having a miss, it'll be fun to see how he does. Because sometimes you get yourself locked in to really shoot well. And he has the advantage of already shooting on the finals venue. Ooh, that's a close one.
That's a close one. Yeah, that's definitely going to have a look at it. It's counted as a 10, called as a 10.
And again, that's the advantage that you have being the one that just shot the match. Tony's already sighted in out here. He's already rolling and has a little confidence from his win.
You see that side-to-side movement? That's probably Talley just kind of checking the bubble. Yeah, a little bit of a flinch. He's got 12 seconds, plenty of time to execute this shot. Without question, there's some nerves coming in on this big stage.
Oh man, I'm telling you, like, people just don't. And I think archery, so many times the archers make it look so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had friends that like watch me shoot and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to try this. and they try it and they don't shoot anywhere near, and they're like, oh, you make it look too easy. Well, I think people don't get the aspect of how hard this really is.
Yeah. And of course, what Talley did was he moved Harbaugh off of his spot, and I think that that's always a good strategy. Don't allow the shooter in front of you who's already got a round in the books to be all that comfortable.
Yeah.
That's another 10-11 line.
He's got two of them that are close. It'll be the judge that helps determine that.
All right, Glenn Talley, welcome back to the Lancaster Archery Classic final stage. How many times is this for you up here?
Probably about 4 or 5.
4 or 5. You're a veteran. It's nice and easy. It's just like shooting at home, right?
Oh, yeah, it's like in the basement.
All right, Glenn, tell us about your equipment, what you're shooting here today.
PSE Dominator 38. I have an Excel sight and scope. I have B-standard bars, one-tip arrows, toning vanes, and freak show rest.
Release. I haven't been covering releases. What do you got there?
It's a True Ball Execute. I have ABB strings and cables.
All right, well, welcome back to the classic stage there, Glenn. And it looks like we have a 33-29 advantage for Tony. Going into our second end.
You've taken the lead. You get to shoot first or second.
So Glenn got one of those two close ones.
You'll be shooting second.
So it's not. And Tony's scoring them all 11s.
Yeah, so 33-30 with 3 ends. If you're new to archery, each game that we play, and there's a variety of games you can play in archery, they all have a group of arrows that you're going to shoot. In this case, we're shooting 3 at a time. And that's what's known as an end. So the end could be 3 arrows, it could be 5 arrows, it could be 6 arrows. There's any combination.
Yeah, it just depends on what you're doing. Tony opened the door a little bit there.
Yeah, he sure did.
I mean, people feel like sometimes 3 points is a big lead, but you just never know what can happen to change the whole match.
Especially here at the Lancaster
Yep.
Archery Classic, because you do have the 12 ring if you need it. The thing is with that little dot is you can only call it once per end, but you could call it every single end.
Yeah.
And there are, I would say, probably 3 ways to shoot at the 12. But if we get there, we'll shoot it. Now, the other thing about this particular shoot that's interesting is that when you're shooting in your qualification rounds, you have to label the targets in the order in which you shoot.
Yeah.
So like for me, for instance, Rio, I shoot the bottom one left, bottom left first, then I shoot, I shoot the top one first, bottom one left second, bottom right third. But here, because of these lights, I would definitely shoot bottom first and then top first. And I know you know why I would do that.
Yeah, for the shadow factors. And honestly, I've learned to kind of ignore them. But to be honest, a lot of places we shoot put numbers on them 1, 2, 3, so bottom left, top, and bottom right. So I've learned to just shoot them that way, and that's how I do it.
Oh, yeah. So there's a good example of a very close arrow call, but for me, it's unquestionably an 11.
Yeah, 100%.
And the thing about calling these arrows is that's important to remember if you're doing this at home is it's not the whole of the paper. It's where the arrow is at rest. So, the hole could be cutting that line, but if the arrow is resting outside of that line, that is the actual call.
Well, and even some of that is where the line should be. You're supposed to recreate it, because sometimes when you're shooting at the target, it's moved and that line changes a little bit. So the biggest part is recreating the line as if it wasn't ever touched.
You still have to.
Just a look at the 3 arrows coming from
Then you'll be shooting second.
Talley. Really good shoot.
It kind of swapped. One had a really good end.
Yeah. And just like that, we're all tied up, and that's why you just never count yourself out of it. So when Talley will shoot second. So here's Harbaugh coming from fourth. Guarantees himself a podium by winning that first match, but wants to work his way all the way up to the first place match and win this whole thing. Yep.
And it's really cool to watch him go back and forth. It makes for a really good match.
Nice clean shot.
And Glenn shoots a little different release than what we're used to seeing. The other two have both had a handheld. Glenn's is on a strap with his index finger that's setting it off. You can watch it. It works kind of like a rifle trigger. You lay your finger on it or your gun trigger, and it goes that way.
Harbaugh obviously not happy with that 9.
No.
11, 33.
There it is.
And Glenn pulls a really solid set of 11s.
Yeah, Glenn Talley now has definitely settled into his rhythm, and that's really part of the key here at the Lancaster Archery Classic is getting those first couple arrows out of the way and figuring out quickly. Not settling in at 2 ends of 4, but settling in at 1. That's what Glenn Talley's able to do. So we wait for confirmation of the score. Here's PJ.
Which is better? Here you first shot.
Honestly, I love the old shop.
Not quite as many cameras or lights on you up here, right?
True, very true. But there was so much family back then. It just felt like a huge family.
Yeah. Remember what year that was?
Sister, what year was that? We both took 4th that first year we went down.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, we certainly appreciate you hanging with us and coming back. The Classic has definitely grown over the years.
Glenn, you have taken the lead. You can
That's
shoot
thanks
first
to
or
the
second.
vision of Rob Kaufman, of course. We'll get it right one of these years.
It is the 20th year. There was one year that we had to skip, of course. There was the big snow year as well. And we got some scoring done. But this has been a staple on the East Coast, and really it's just because of how much fun this tournament is, and of course how many vendors are here as well. The fact that you, right down the street, you have Lancaster, the store, the archery supply store. I mean, you come here and you can hang out here at Spooky Nook. There's a hotel right on site. You can also go down the street, go check out Lancaster Archery Supply. Being from North Carolina myself, I love going to that store. It's like Christmas.
I do, but my checkbook doesn't.
Yeah, I know.
I have a buddy I've tried to get to come all the years, and he says, I can't go because my credit card wouldn't let me.
Harbaugh right now really struggling to find the middle on these last 2 arrows, coming up with a 19. That looks like it's the first miscue for Talley.
A little bit.
Yeah, in the last, it'll be 7 arrows. So his fifth one out, 7. Okay, 11 for Harbaugh. This two will really extend the lead for Talley.
10.
That will be the match.
That's going to be it. 122 to 126 is the unofficial score. So for Harbaugh, it'll be a 3rd place finish. And for Glenn Talley, who opened up with a concerning 30-point end versus Harbaugh, who came out of the box with a 33. But what a comeback for Glenn Talley.
Yeah, he strung a lot of good arrows there to finish that out and give him the win. I mean, for sure that was a challenge. And if anybody knows archery, that is a hard part when you come out and struggle to get it together and come through and finish like that to win is a really tall task.
String together Tony Harbaugh's shots. And so, officially, Glenn Talley will
Taking
advance.
home 3rd place and $1,000.
There we go, nice little take home.
Thanks for coming out, Tony. All right, we're going to bring out our #1 qualifier, our #1 ranked archer, actually. Finished 2nd in qualification from Shelby, Michigan, Carl Wenk. Carl's coming with 3 2nd places at the Classic. I bet he wants to fix that. He's got a chance to do so.
There's a good look at Carl Wenk out of Shelby, Michigan. shooting a bow tech, been shooting for 36 years, been an NFA champion. I'm sure you've known his name for many years, Rio.
Yeah, he's been around. He shot with my dad a bunch. In fact, he asked me yesterday, "Hey, how's your dad doing?" So it's kind of fun.
All right.
Yeah, Carl shot with my dad a bunch. So I've known him for a long time.
And archery is one of those sports, you know, if you can just get the bow, if you can pull the bow back, you can shoot. Whether it's sitting down, standing up, whether you
Or use your feet.
use your feet, exactly, use your mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a sport for everyone. All right. Carl Wenk choosing to shoot first.
8.
Oh. Again, like I say, it's always your first arrow. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's anxiety.
10.
Okay, so that one hurt, obviously, but it didn't hurt as bad as it could.
No. And what this shooting first or shooting second is kind of an interesting one, especially with the 12, because you don't know what the other guy's going to shoot if you're shooting first. Because you could shoot all 3 arrows in the 11. That guy could shoot 2 11s and hit the 12 and gain a point on you.
Yeah.
So choosing that position is a really big part of the game now that the 12's in play.
Wenk needs an 11 here. Oof. There's a lot of what we call English on that bow after the shot went off.
Yeah, a little help trying to get it there.
Yep. You can see 8 star, that's a liner call.
10.
Okay, so 10 for Talley.
And that's, I think, a big part of that's him already being out there and feeling a little more comfortable.
Without question. And because, look, Rio, no matter what you do, it's hard to simulate this. Let's go to PJ.
The classic stage. Have you been up here before? How many times?
3 times on this one.
3 times on this one. All right, that's right. We mentioned 3 second place finishes. From Shelby, Michigan, where do you shoot up there?
I shoot at Oceana Archery.
Okay. Well, tell us about your equipment. We want to let the folks know at home know what we're shooting up here.
I came with a different bow this year. I got a new bow tech, Reckoning Gen 2 36, which I really love. Still shooting the Sherlock sight, some homemade bars, Pro Tuner rest, Easton 2512s, and a Carter 2 Moon release, which is going off kind of slow today.
I see LAS branded bars there, Ken. I didn't know we were selling those. Carl. You got a special deal. All right, after our first end, we have Glenn Talley, 29, Carl Wenk, 26.
That's just a sticker, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carl knows what he's doing. All right, so 29, 26.
And PJ trying to sell the 12 button.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard one to commit to. It's not an easy thing to hit, and I think people think that it's so easy to shoot, and that's not easy.
Well, especially if you're Carl Wenk right now, because you're just trying to find the middle first, you know. And so, don't you think that even with the experience that he has, but you got to build confidence here in these next couple arrows?
Oh, for sure. If he doesn't, like I said, it's hard to come out with a struggle at first and recapture yourself and finish out with that. I mean, we saw Glenn do it last time, but it's not easy.
11.
Nice. So there we go. Wenk with an 11. Now, Rio, Wenk did mention that his release is going off slowly. What does that mean?
Sometimes when we're shooting and we lack a little confidence, especially when you walk out here, we're just a little timid on it. We're trying to be careful. We just don't have the confidence in ourselves or what we're doing. And so we get real careful and cute, and we just aren't as aggressive and strong. So it changes the pace of your shot. And I think that's what happens a lot when a guy walks out here. They're just trying to be more careful, and it isn't always the best thing.
Boy, for Talley this match, there's been a lot of really close ones to that 11 ring.
Yeah, he's got real dialed in.
Lancaster Archery Classic. Tell us what you like about it.
BJ's at it again.
Well, I'm more of a 3D shooter than a spot shooter, but it's one of the best events I go to in the year.
Does this give you good practice for 3D?
It makes you a better shot. You got to work on the shot, but it also gives you target panic.
It does do that. Well, you seem to be controlling that pretty well here today, Glenn. We have, after 2 ends, Glenn Talley leads 60, Carl Wenk 57. Carl, that 12 buttons over there. If we didn't mention, I get a day off for every time somebody calls it and you hit it. So.
Just a little replay of what we've seen so far as we head into our 3rd of 4 ends of this match.
And a little bit of Carl getting himself his feet under him after that really rough start. But
Nice.
it's really not that many points, Jeff, is separating. As much as we've seen, it's only 3 points.
Yeah. And one of the 2 12s are available right now for each shooter. This end and the next end. But again, you know, it's like you're saying, it's kind of definitely a risk-reward situation.
Yeah.
And for Wenk right now, if you're not hitting him exactly where you were, I mean, he was the number 2 qualifier and then shot his way to the number 1 placed archer. He's just not having his way like he had for the last day or 2.
And Glenn's shooting a lot in the middle. It makes you think you gotta take a risk, but it's hard to take that risk when like Carl's kind of had not as good a solid footing.
Just a ton of English for him today.
Yeah, and like I said, it going slower. It's just you're just moving around a lot more, and it's hard to get it to go off.
11.
Wow.
Yeah. Glenn has just really found his pace again. And his shot seems to be very consistent. And so that gives him a lot more confidence in what he's got going on and everything else.
Now, Glenn Talley did mention the 2 words that we're not going to talk about here, but he mentioned target panic. We could explain it to you on this broadcast, but we don't want to.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about target panic. It is something known something known in shooting sports. If you're interested in it, you can look it up online. It shows up in a lot of different ways, does a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but it's real. It's real, Rio. It's real.
Oh, wait, and that's
What a crowd we have.
an understatement to say.
Here at the Spooky Nook Sports Complex here in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Our final end of competition for our Senior Open class. This is to be crowned champion of Senior Open here at the 2024 Lancaster Archery Classic.
And you see this sometimes, like Carl really wants to win. He's been second, 3rd times, I believe we said.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that I've seen archers when there's something they really want to win. They get out here and close to the finals, and it just eats them up, and it really causes a struggle. And maybe that's a big part of why his release is slower.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah, that makes total sense. You could actually see on that last shot that when the shot went off, his bow arm didn't move at all because it went off in more of his timing.
Yep, and in the middle. The dot was in the middle when it went off, so you didn't have to feel like you had to throw it one way or another.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we got a 12. You can see in the back, right part of your screen. Just missed it.
Missed it for an 8.
Well, Carl Wenk tried to put on a show, going after the 12. We'll talk more about that in a second. The final shot of the match.
11.
And a really strong 11 from Glenn Talley, who's able to take victory here at the 20th Lancaster Archery Classic in the Senior Open category. And there's as close to that 12 as
We've seen so far.
yeah, it's our first 12 shot of the. Of course, it comes in the very first round of shoot-ups of the day. And I like that Carl Wenk went for it. Whether he needed the points or not, at least he's going to put on a show. But you can see the platforms where the shooters stand. And it looks like 123 to 114 victory for Glenn Talley.
Carl
Here's
Wenk
PJ.
for finishing second. You're going to take home $1,500 from the Classic, $750 from Bowtech. Carl Wenk, congratulations. Thanks for being here. And our champion, Glenn Talley, $3,000 for first place, and you get your picture on another banner up there. How's that feel, Glenn?
I'm feeling good now.
Feeling good now. Were you feeling good all through the round there? Just at the end, when did you know, hey, I might be able to pull this out?
I definitely felt better this second shot than when I was shooting against the first guy.
All right, where does a classic title rank in your list of accomplishments in archery?
Well, this is a big deal, you know. I wish I could go to Vegas, but I stick around home.
All right, well, congratulations, Glenn Talley, Senior Open Champion 2024 Lancaster Archery Classic.
And with that, our first match of the 20th Lancaster Archery Classic is in the books here from Spooky Duck Sports Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania. More shoot-up action in a minute.